How are you? I hope you guys had good fun day, fun week last week. We are going to continue on the topic of what was the topic that we were covering last time? What is the theme? What is the thematic topic that we are covering in the stories? Do you remember? Who remembers what is the wider topic that we are covering for past, I would say, 2 or 3 times. Okay. Praniti, any clues? Any?
Was it like the life of like the Bhagwan?
Nahi, 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 nahi. Uh, there is continuity in life of Bhagwan, of course. Yes, we did cover that also just before Mahavir Janma Kalyanak Day, है ना? So we had a digression. We did cover the story of Mahavir Bhagwan, the animation story, the high quality animation story that we covered. But apart from that, there is a general. Okay, so let me give you a hint. 10. 10 is the hint. Now, who is going to tell me what 10? What are 10 or thus? Something to do with thus. कौन बताएगा? 10 क्या? हम एक टॉपिक कर रहे हैं. We covered a few of them and they are 10. The concepts are 10. क्या 10? क्या चीज 10 होती है अपने जैन साइंस में, जैन फिलॉसफी में? देयर इज अ सेट ऑफ 10 थिंग्स और वो टॉपिक हम पढ़ रहे थे. तो हु इज गोइंग टू टेल मी नाउ? कोई बता सकता है? चलो मैं बता देता हूँ. I know you guys are very busy and at times don't even think, don't get time to even apply thinking on and contemplation on things that we have already covered, which is a pity, but it's okay. I can give you some, you know, I can show some leniency, okay, only on one time basis. So the topic we are covering are is the topic of Das Lakshan Dharma or 10 dharma, 10 virtues. है ना? Now, these 10 virtues are described as the virtues that should be exhibited or followed by the yatis or muni for sure, but then they are should also be practiced by and exhibited by shravaks like us. बात ठीक है प्रणीति? तो टॉपिक क्या है? 10 लक्षण धर्म. क्या टॉपिक है? 10 लक्षण धर्म. है ना? तो अब इन 10 लक्षण धर्म में हमने कितने धर्म कवर कर लिए थे? आई थिंक वी कवर्ड 3 ऑलरेडी. ओके. So what were these 3 dharma that we have already covered? We did cover, we covered the Shama dharma, the forbearance, right, or forgiveness, supreme forgiveness. Then we covered Shama. उसके बाद में आता है modesty. Modesty is the धर्म रिलेटेड टू हम्बलनेस और ह्यूमिलिटी, है ना? तो उसको सुप्रीम ह्यूमिलिटी भी कह सकते हैं, सुप्रीम मॉडेस्टी भी कह सकते हैं. फिर आता है धर्म सुप्रीम स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्डनेस. सो द हिंदी नेम्स आर क्षमा, मार्दव, आर्जव. ये 3 हमने कवर कर लिए थे. ठीक है ना? फॉर एवरी धर्म देर इज ए स्टोरी, है ना? तो ऐसे ही एक आज थॉट बिफोर आई स्टार्टेड गॉट इन टू द क्लास. A thought occurred to me which I have pasted in the chat there. The storytelling, right? Storytelling is been part of human civilization since beginning, and even the movies that we watch, the dramas that we watch, we all like to watch those in some shape or form, even including reading fiction books, because we all are fine. We have an affinity towards learning from stories. है ना? Stories are a part of every culture that has existed in human beings, and even for that matter in animals. It's just that we cannot understand their stories. How a elephant mom conveys the story to the kids and beyond, right? But storytelling has been proven as the most profound means of conveying information, conveying ideas, conveying culture in a very compressed and concise form and very entertaining form, right? Each culture has their own characteristics when it comes to storytelling. जैसे ना biblical stories का एक culture, एक character होता है, which you will see in many movies, right? The movies about Armageddon, the world is coming to end. When the world comes to end, then there is like a moment of calling when everybody gets justice and so on and so forth. But all in all, you would see this pattern repeating in many Bollywood movies also. The question out here is, what is that storytelling characteristics for Jains, right? We are all the stories that you guys are going through, um, we probably cover most in the, at least in the level one. That is how we convey the key messages of Jainism. There is always a story, है ना? तो उस स्टोरी का मेन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक क्या होता है, राइट? एक टेम्पलेट, एक स्टैंडर्ड कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ जैन स्टोरीज ये होता है कि देर इज अ कंटिन्यू even after death, which is the most profound characteristics, right? I mean, when somebody reads a biblical story, you will not find life after death, because that's not a foundational principle for Christians and for Islamists and for Jews. However, that is a very, 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 very differentiating feature for all the dharmic religions, the religions that originated in and around India, including Jainism, right? Jainism being one of the most eternal and ancient religions in India, that goes back, at least in this Kal Chakra, all the way, half Kal cycle goes all the way to the times of Bhagwan Rishabdev, right? And it existed before that also, but that's a different time cycle, so we are not talking about that, है ना? और हमारी जो चेरिशेबल इंफॉर्मेशन है वो हम एक जनरेशन से दूसरी को कैसे पास करते हैं? बाय दीज प्रथमानुयोग स्टोरीज, राइट? वी कॉल दिस सेक्शन ऑफ जैन साइंसेस और जैन फिलोसफी एज प्रथमानुयोग. Prathamanuyog is the storytelling part of the Jain religion, और उसमें ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक होता है ना? तो अगर आपसे कोई पूछता है, आप बड़े हो जाओगे, आपके बच्चे भी आपसे पूछेंगे, और भी कोई पूछेगा, फ्रेंड्स पूछेंगे कि अच्छा देखो, बाइबल में हमारी ऐसी स्टोरीज होती हैं, उनका ये कैरेक्टरिस्टिक होता है. What is the characteristics of stories that are told in Jainism? Then you should know that our stories are based around the thought of karma and of the eternity of soul, right? In our stories, life does not end with death. Rather, there is a continuity beyond it also for multiple futures, right? And what you do today not just define what would happen to you in this life, but also in the upcoming many futures and many lives, right? So that's why that establishes a sense of responsibility in our actions, in our thoughts, in our words, and in our actions. We are responsible for it, no other being. There is no supreme being. It is us. We as a soul, the way we react to situations, the way we not react to situations, that defines how our future is destined. है ना? ठीक है. Having said that, with this short and this diversion, let me come back to the topic of dharma, है ना? तो आज हम जो दो धर्म कवर करेंगे, and again with story, right? So we will have two stories, and you would be surprised, right? What I told you, even these stories of Pratmanu Yoga, you will see a continuity with multiple lives, right? Same soul moving from one life to another and another. Death is happens, and then still there is a life after death, and so on and so forth, right? So death, one should, while one should be afraid of death, they should also not be afraid of death, because there is life on the other side of death also, है ना? And it yet continues depending on how the karma are accrued by a person. So the next one, the fourth dharma that we are going to cover today is the dharma that's called as Shauch Dharma. What is the name? Shauch or Shuchita. Uttam Shauch or Uttam Shuchita. Now, that dharma is all towards not no greed. Okay, so the simpler English for it would be no greed. That is what Shauch Dharma is all about, or purity. Now, how is purity related to greed? Well, greed is probably the most impure thought that one can have. This is the most, uh, the worst, I should say, not using the positive word, but a negative word. Uh, Greed is the worst type of kashai that a soul can exhibit. In fact, the way it is defined in our scriptures, greed is considered as pap ka baap. Pap ka baap matlab it is the mother of all, or father. Pap, baap is father. I'm sure you know this. It is the mother of all the other type of kashayas. Everything, if you do a stepped analysis, comes back to greed. Somebody is angry. Why are they angry? Because they didn't get any something they desired. They desired something. What is that? They actually were greedy, right? So that's how krodh is related. Anger is related to greed. Man, somebody got ego, right? Somebody was got greedy. They were able to get everything that they desired, and as they got everything they desired, they developed an ego. उनको मान हो गया. So मान का source भी क्या है? Greed, right? Somebody desired something and they realized that something is with another person. Tattva wanted something, but his brother Sarthak has it. So what does Tattva do? He knows Sarthak is powerful. He is more, he's elder. He has more strength. So he cannot use strength on him and win over. Rather, he decide to do trickery, right? Deceit, Maya. So again, why did Maya? Why did Tattva had to apply Maya? Because Tattva wanted something. He had a desire. He was greedy on and wanted to get something which already belonged to Sarthak. Okay, Tattva, that's just a story. Okay, I just wanted your attention, so thought of using your name. Okay, right? So that again is the case. That's how greed is, and the corresponding, the opposite of greed is the bhavana or the dharma of uttam shoch, right? Not having greed. That is why it is considered as purity, because this is the not a nature. See, krodh, man, maya, and lobh. The four kashayas, they are not natures of the soul. They are contrarian behavior of a soul. When you are not behaving like a soul, you are actually doing one of them, krodh, man, maya, lobh, right? So, what is the corresponding behavior of the soul? It is the opposite behavior, the dharma, that rather the soul should be following and exhibiting. That is Shama, which is against Krodh, right? Marda, which is against Man, Arja, which is against Maya, and then the Shoch, which is against लोभ, लोभ being greed. Okay, so that's how the connection है ना. तो ये जो पहले चार धर्म है ना, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि हम बार बार आपको ये क्वेश्चन आएगा और बार बार आपको ये टॉपिक आएगा, चार कषाय, चार कषाय, चार कषाय. चार कषाय क्या होती है? फोर वाइसेस, राइट? And what do we talk about when we talk about voices? There's four things: krodh, man, maya, lobh. You should also know what are the opposites of each of these words, है ना, because the opposites are the positive behavior, the true nature of the soul. And rather than knowing the four kashayas, I should be knowing what should I be doing if not the four kashayas, है ना. So I should be exhibiting shama, I should be exhibiting mardav, I should be exhibiting arjav, I should be exhibiting shoch, है ना. So that's how it is. Now there is a story about this Seth, a merchant who is a greedy, and more than greedy, he's a miser merchant, right? So now greediness gets exhibited in many shapes and form, right? If somebody has does not have something and they are greedy, then it will get exhibited as I mentioned, right? They can get angry, they can get anxious, they can get too aggressive in winning over those things. There are various vices that they can pick up. If somebody is already very rich, how would they be greedy? How would they appear as greedy? Probably they will go miser. Miser as in stingy, right? There are people who are like they already have too much of wealth, yet they want to get more wealth, or they want to always save on their wealth, not share it with people around them, right? So this Seth is of that type. He's lots of wealth already, lot of money, but he's stingy, right? And in our Indian Bollywood movies, at times they make fun of these stingy people also, right? Is this rich guy, but he lives like a pauper, and want to save every dime and penny and whatnot, right? And that leads them into trouble, right? They get subjected to people who are more deceitful, who try to do heist with them, or basically steal away money from them, right? And so on and so forth. So something on that kind, is the story. So let's go to the story. Let me share my screen now. Okay, where is the share button? Here it is. Okay, let's see. Okay, here I am. Go to the Uttam short story. Okay, guys, let me know once you are able to hear it. Okay, give me a second. To
Changing in the kids. Today, I am going to tell you a very interesting story. Once, there was a small city named Champapur, ruled by a king named King Abhevahan. In the city, there lived a trader named Lubdhak. And you know, kids, that trader had a lot of wealth. He was a very rich person. However, he was a miser. Lubthak, who had a lot of gold, had gotten pairs of birds and animals made of gold, which included birds like peacocks and pigeons, deer, elephants, and lions. He had beautifully decorated these pairs of animals and birds made of gold with pearls that everybody praised a lot. He had also gotten
yes, Udyan, you have a point. Go ahead, beta.
I cannot see the screen.
Oh, you cannot see the screen. Okay, give me a second. What's going on?
I can't see it either.
Okay, give me a second. Maybe I didn't share it right. So let me try sharing it again. Thank you for calling that out. Let's see. Let me share my screen instead, or share the desktop. Maybe that would be a better option. How about now? Can you see it?
Yeah.
an ox made of gold. Have you seen an ox? They help farmers in the fields. Now, the thing was that Lubthak had just one ox and did not have enough gold for another one. And so, he started thinking. He started getting tensed and wondered what to do. He couldn't sleep, neither during the day nor the night. All he had on his mind was how he could make the other ox to complete the pair. One day, it started raining very heavily in Champapur. All 7 days of the week, it was raining very heavily. And you know what happens when it rains very heavily? The water level increases in the river. And the water level had increased so much in the river that nobody dared to go in it. But Lubdak did not even get remotely scared. Lubdak was very eager to earn money. Without thinking, he went into the river and picked up the logs of wood flowing in the water, and he made a bundle of wood with them. The queen of Champapur was watching all this from the high windows of her palace. She saw the king and immediately asked him to look at everything. The king saw this too. Both of them wondered, that the man who went in the crazy river must be so poor. He mustn't be having any money. Despite the high water levels in the river, he didn't care about his life and went to collect the logs of wood. The king felt pity. He immediately asked his guards to get Lubdak.
What do you think? Was he a poor man? Was Lubdak a poor man? No, right? He's a miser man, right? He got into trouble because he's being stingy. He want to get those uh, pieces of wood, and that got him into trouble. Okay. Although the king, in good faith, thought differently and is now wanting to help. Okay. So let's see what happens next.
Then the king told him, "You seem to be very poor, since even in this heavy rain you are collecting logs of wood floating on the river." The king said, "Lubdak, you can take as much wealth as you want from my treasury." But Lubdak said, "Maharaji, I do not need money. I have an ox, but I do not have another one to complete the pair." The king sent him with his guard and told the guard, "Give him whichever ox he wants." To which Lubdak said, "Maharaji, my ox is different from all the oxen." The puzzled king started thinking and told him, "What do you mean by different ox? Even I would like to see." Lubdak got the king to his home and showed him his pairs of birds and animals made of gold. The king was shocked. So many attractive and shining birds and animals. Wow! Then Lubdak said, "Maharaji, look at this ox. I want to make another one to complete the pair, and hence I am collecting money for gold." The king now understood everything. To give to the king, Lubdak's wife got him a beautiful plate filled with beautiful pearls and precious stones. But you know what happened? Lubdak did not like that his wife got so many pearls and precious stones for the king. He took that plate from her, and because of greed he thought, "So much wealth as a gift for the king? I don't want to give it." Lubdak's hands started shivering, and from his body language, the king came to know how greedy Lubdak was. Even after having so much, he did not wish to give even a little. The king got angry. He said, "Lubdak, you are so greedy and foolish. You can never give anything to anyone. See how your hands are shaking." And he immediately left from there. But this did not affect Lubdak, and he was still thinking about money and wealth. Lubdak went to another country to earn money. He got a lot of money and gold there, and was returning with it to his country. But there was a cyclone in the sea, and his ship turned upside down, and all his money and his gold sank in the sea. Even Lubdak drowned in the water and died. After dying, Lubdak returned as a snake to protect his wealth. He always guarded and protected his gold and would not let anyone come near it. One day, Lubdak's oldest son killed the snake out of anger. Lubdak always had greedy thoughts. All the time, he only thought of money and ran behind money and gold. He was a very greedy person, and hence he went to hell after he died as a snake. You see, kids, we should never have greed. Whatever toys we may have, whatever other things that we might have, we should always share it with others. And we should not force our parents to buy us new toys. Whenever you want new toys, you should give your old toys to the kids who do not have those toys. You will do this, kids, won't you? Jai Jinendra.
Right? So you saw what is the consequence of being greedy. है ना? अब देखो important part क्या है? Even after Lubdak died, right? Lubdak was born in a great was born in great wealth. On top of it, he earned more wealth. Yet he was not able to give his the obsession of wealth. He stayed greedy and miser always, all the time, right? And in spite of getting, an earful from the king, and even, making the king angry, he continued with his behavior. It became his habit, right? One day he died, but the habit yet continued, right? Do you think a snake has a purpose with wealth, Sarthak?
No.
No, right? Well, how does it matter? There is a, for a snake, what matter is probably, some food, that's all, right? For a snake, whether there is a piece of stone, a precious stone, or diamond, or a piece of coal doesn't even matter. Yet, in the next life, Lubdag, when the Lubdag soul was born as a snake, the obsession, the greed continued. एंड the वो सांप वो वहां बैठा रहता था on the top of the mound of wealth of gold. So it got killed, right? When the snake got killed, since the behavior continued, the greed continued, the next life, that snake, that jeev that was Lubdag and got born as snake, got born in that next life, got born as a Narak Gati ka jeev, and had to go through the pains and agony and torture of the hellish, lok, right? So that is the consequence of greed. Greed does not lead you, will never lead you to a higher purpose, a higher, higher life in the long run. In short run, maybe people may get, their goals met and objectives met, but what would be the final outcome of it? That is what matters, है ना? So that is important there. And again, I'm going back to, remember the Jain story pattern, or the Jain storytelling, the profound pattern of the eternity of the soul. The journey continues even after death, है ना? Now let's shift to the next topic, the next dharma, the fifth dharma, the पांचवा dharma, and that is the dharma of satya. ओके, कौन मुझे सत्य का मीनिंग बताएगा? द वर्ड मीनिंग ऑफ सत्य, किसी को पता है सत्य का मतलब क्या होता है? आरुष भी बता सकता है, उदयन भी बता सकता है। चलो आरुष, आप बताओ।
Like truth.
वेरी नाइस। सत्य मीन्स ट्रुथ, है ना? द अदर वर्ड फॉर इट इन हिंदी इज सच। द सत्य इज मोर संस्कृताइज्ड, द मोर कॉमन वर्ड इज सच, है ना? सच बोलना चाहिए या सत्य बोलना चाहिए इन दैट वे। सो दैट इज द फिफ्थ धर्म, है ना? पहले चार हमने पढ़े, विच आर द कंप्लीट ऑपोजिट ऑफ द फोर कशायस, राइट? क्षमा is opposite of Krodh, Mardav is opposite of Man, Arjav is opposite of Maya, and Shauch is opposite of greed or लोभ, है ना? अब पांचवा जो है वो है सत्य, राइट? अब सत्य किसका ऑपोजिट है? अस्तेय का। सॉरी, अस्तेय बोलेंगे हम, एक मिनट रुको, अस्तेय बोलेंगे नहीं, इसको बोलेंगे हम सत्य होगा झूठ का उल्टा, ठीक है ना? सच का उल्टा झूठ, झूठ का उल्टा सच, ठीक है ना? तो अब ये जो है कि रिनाउंसिंग अपॉन क्रूएलिटी, हार्श बिहेवियर, bad words, hard and piercing words, which create agony in others' mind, right, is what such is all about. Hit mit vachan ka bolna. Hit mit vachan matlab the words that do not cause pain, anguish, and anger in the other person. We should always be using those words. Now, that's a good behavior, right? You also know, you don't have to be a Jain to practice that. Everyone should be practicing that, right? If somebody is always saying harsh word, mean words to you, would you like them, Praniti? If, let's say, there is a teacher who always uses harsh and mean words to you, would you enjoy their class? No, right? Same thing applies to our siblings also, to our parents also, everyone around us, our friends, right? We want to be friend with folks who speak good, who speak truth, but they use good words, है ना? So that is what is also very important. So truth is not just about saying true things. Sometimes truth can be harsh as well, right? Let's say if you get to know somebody is going to die, and if you say that on their face, you are going to die, would they like it? Haram? No, right? है ना? सो हित मित प्रिय वचन बोलना बहुत जरूरी है, right? Even if you have to convey a harsh truth to somebody, you have to apply some discretion, है ना? As a Shravak human being, as a lay person, as a householder, we cannot always say harsh things on the face. We should avoid them at every cost, right? Because they are not good for your relationships, and obviously they are not good for the karmic process also. You will not get good karma by saying harsh and direct things, है ना? You may end up infuriating people, making enemies. You will never make good friends with that process, है ना? So that's why it is very very important that, when we should always say truth, but we should also, what matters is how we are conveying that truth. We should never be saying bitter truth to a person, है ना? There are better ways of saying, conveying the information, and we should be using them. Okay, so with that said, let me play this story, the second story, and let's see. It's a story again following the same template, same Pratmanuyog template, which is about life after death, multiple lives, because the journey continues unless the you go through the process of samvara nirjara and ultimately reach moksha. Until that happens, the journey of soul will continue. है ना? So let's get to that Satya Dharma story. Okay, I am there with some slowness. Hopefully it will.
Jajanath kids. So, when I was in the 4th grade, I had an extremely awesome teacher. But she gave homework all the time. Do you have a teacher like this? So one day, my teacher asked one of my friends if he completed the homework. But my friend forgot, and he told her that he did not do it. The teacher began to yell at him for not doing it, and the entire class laughed at him and made fun of him. But then the teacher came over to me and asked me about my homework. But I too actually forgot to do my homework, and I didn't want to be embarrassed like my friend. So I told her that I had done my homework, but had forgotten the notebook at home. I felt so good. I was able to fool my teacher. But when I went home and told this to my mom, she told me a story. Do you want to listen to it? This is the story of 3 friends, whose names are Vasu, Narand, and Parvat. Vasu was the king of a city. Parvat was a teacher at Gurukul, meaning a school, and Narand was a pandit, meaning a scholar. One day, Narand went to meet his friend Parvat in Gurukul. When teacher Parvat was teaching in the classroom, there came a line in one lesson, Ajasthami. Parvat said that the meaning of Aja was goat, who should be sacrificed, meaning killed in a holy fire to worship God. Listening to this, Narand said, "Oh, dear friend Parvat, Aja. Aja means old rice, meaning that old rice should be added to the holy fire to worship God, and not by..."
Okay, one slight correction in the pronunciation. वो नरंद नहीं है ना बेटा, वो नारद है. Okay, it's a wrong pronunciation of the name. Okay, and the story is about the word, the meaning of the word aja. Aja in Sanskrit could mean different things based upon the context. So in one context, aja means bakra or goat, है ना? But in the other context, what Narad is saying in the story, it means chawal. Okay, chawal means rice. Okay.
By doing hinsa or violence. But Parvat was reluctant to listen to what Narand said and told him, "No, only I am right," and he became angry. Both the friends started fighting. The fighting got so intense that people suggested that they meet their friend King Vasu and ask him instead. When Parvat came home, he told his mother about everything. But do you know what? His mother knew that what Parvat said was actually in fact wrong, and what Narayana said was right. But do you know what she thought? She thought that if her son was proven wrong, then that would insult him, and that she must save her son from this disrespect. And because of this thought, do you know what she did? The next day, early in the morning, she went to meet King Vasu in his palace, before Narand and Parvat even reached. She told King Vasu that his friends, Narad and Parvat, were going to come to meet him. She told him that they would ask you a question, and that promise me that you will say that my son is right and that Narand is wrong, even if my son's answer is completely wrong. King Vasu got tense. Since Parvat's mother was his Guru Mata, once during his childhood, he had promised her that he would help her whenever she would ask. Because of that promise King Vasu made to Guru Mata, the king agreed that he would say that Parvat is right no matter what. After some time, Narand and Parvat came to the king's court. King Vasu welcomed both his friends. Both of his friends said that they had come to ask him the meaning of Ajastami. Narand told the king that it means offering old rice in the holy fire to worship God. And Parvat told the king that it means that a goat should be sacrificed in the holy fire to worship God. Then they said, "Dear friend Vasu, now only you can tell us who is right and who is wrong." King Vasu knew very well that Aja meant old rice, and that God should be worshipped with old rice only, and that killing a goat is violence and also an extremely great sin. But he had promised Guru Mata that he would say that Parvat is right. He was in a dilemma and was wondering if he should say the truth or if he should lie and fulfill the promise he made to Guru Mata. So, King Vasu decided to fulfill his promise to Guru Mata instead of saying the truth. King Vasu said that what Parvat was saying was right. He did not even realize that he was calling hinsa or violence the right thing to do.
So Vasu did not he endorsed hinsa, right? Under the influence of the Guru Mata, who was treacherous, who wanted to save the son, and not a good behavior, right? So while obviously the Guru Mata's soul would is committing a crime, more than her, even along with her, the king is also committing a crime by abating, a lie. है ना? So that's what is very important to understand here.
But wait, what just happened suddenly? The moment King Vasu lied, his throne started slowly burying in the earth. And Narand immediately said, "O king, there is still time. Please tell the truth, and you shall be saved." But the king, he refused, and his throne was buried inside the earth, and he died that very moment. Kids, do you know where the king went after he died? He went to the most horrifying seventh hell because he lied and he supported violence. Because of his one lie, now there are so many goats who in the name of religion are being killed and being sacrificed. This ritual is called Bali. After listening to the story, I promised that I would never ever lie for the rest of my life. But I will tell you a secret, that in the past I have cheated sometimes while playing games, but now I have stopped doing that because I do not want to go to hell. Here is a tricky question for you. Imagine that you are in a jungle and you see a deer running, and after some time you also see a hunter. The hunter comes up to you and asks, "Where did the deer go? I want to hunt him, eat him. Tell me." What will you do in this situation? Will you tell the truth and maybe not let the deer die, or will you lie and save the deer?
Okay, what would you do, Arush, in such situation?
Lie to save the deer.
Right? Because it's a lie that can save a life. है ना? So while it is lie, I think it's allowed for a householder because the purpose is higher. Udian, you want to add something?
I feel like killing a living being is like a bigger sin. So I would lie to the hunter because lying is not that is not a bigger sin than killing.
Right. Absolutely, Udian. Yeah, good answer. है ना? So sometimes that's why it is very important, right? A truth that can cause damage to one life or many lives, lead to killing of a life or many lives should be avoided. It is as good as saying a lie. uh, you know so if you have to say a truth and that truth can lead to killing of people, better not to tell that. That's a bitter truth, है ना? And a bitter truth has to be avoided, है ना? So that is the key message there. Okay.
Isn't this a little bit of a trick question? I want to know what you think. Tell me your answer in the description box below. Jai Jinand.
Yeah, I think we completed in time today. Let's see, let me stop sharing. So before we wrap up the class today, as I mentioned, I have to be somewhere. So I will be ending the class sooner today. But to any of you, do you have any questions? Praniti, Arush, Sarthak, Arham, Udayan. Tatva left. I think he have to be somewhere. Yes, Arush.
Uh, I wasn't here for like the first half of the class. What did I miss?
So you did miss the initial setup that I did on the key tenet of Jain storytelling, है ना? But you know what? You can always go back and watch the YouTube video,
Oh
right?
yeah,
So they're
okay.
doing their live streaming and that gets recorded. So you didn't miss anything per se. It's just that go back and you can watch it, है ना? But that was the key message there. And then I did a quick revision on the higher theme that we are covering today, which is the Das Lakshan Dharm, right? The 10 virtues or 10 dharm that we should follow, है ना? तो लास्ट क्लासेस में हमने 3 धर्म करे थे, क्षमा, मार्दव और आर्जव. आज हमने शौच और सत्य कवर किया. दैट वे 5 out of 10 वी हैव कवर्ड. ओके, एंड देन यू कैन गो बैक टू दैट स्टोरी बेटा. Sorry, to the video. You'll find the introduction and what is the key tenet of Jain storytelling, Prathmani Yog stories. Okay, ठीक है, चलिए, let's do Jinwani Stuti and we'll end the session today. जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लोकालोक, तेवाणी मस्तक धरूं देहु सदा धोक. हे जिनवाणी भारती माँ तो हे जपो दिन रैन, जो तेरी शरण आ गए वो पावे सुख चैन. उत्तम क्षमा बच्चों. मिच्छामि दुक्कडम. And I will see you next time. Jai Jinendra. Acha, one important message. We have to prepare uh, the Mahavir Janma Kalyanak festival. I think we'll be celebrating virtually sometime in the month of May. है ना?
9th May को है ना?
Right? So a few things there. One thought we had was we'll do a merge of two classes and probably we can cover the topic of Bara Bhavna. We can have you memorize the Bara Bhavna and we all can sing the Bara Bhavna together. The one by Kavivar Dhyanat Rai ji, है ना? Raja Rana Chhatrapati. Your parents would know that always, always. So एक काम कीजिएगा, why don't you check with your parents if you guys are available for that day, and then come back to me in WhatsApp chat. And whoever is available, if you can make yourself make that known to us, we would appreciate that. ठीक है बेटा, चलिए, जय जिनेन्द्र.
जय जिनेन्द्र.
Jai Janendra.
ये
Tam
नहीं
Shama.
तो ये इसका WhatsApp पे अलग है क्या?
Uncle,
हाँ बेटा.
chapter is your WhatsApp different?
Like
नो, देर इज ए व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप, राइट? आपको पता है ना हमारा व्हाट्सएप।
हिंदी क्लास का जो है वही ना, कि आपका मतलब ये हिंदी क्लास का अलग है?
नहीं, जैसे जय जिनेन, मैं है ना एक ग्रुप में व्हाट्सएप में वीडियो ऑडियो डालता हूँ। अब मुझे भी, मैं एक बार आपको बता देता हूँ। का नाम है 12,
ये तो सॉरी,
ये रहा, 12+
ये
ईयर।
12+ वाला ना? हाँ
हाँ,
हाँ
12+ years PS level 1।
हाँ
और
हाँ।
यू कैन डायरेक्ट मैसेज मी ऑल्सो, वहां यू कैन
ओके।
फाइंड माई नेम फ्रॉम देयर,
नहीं, वो
गौरव।
मुझे वही आपने अभी ये
हाँ,
मानव जन कल्याण के लिए बोला ना, तो इसलिए मुझे एकदम से ध्यान आया है। तो
श्योर।
ये 12 भावना मतलब एक एक बच्चा पूरी लर्न करेगा, या एक एक दोहा एक एक बच्चे को आप भी वो करेंगे?
नहीं, मोस्टली हम सबको एक साथ रिसाइट करने को कहेंगे, जिससे एटलीस्ट दे विल विल
लर्न। हाँ।
लर्न, है ना?
ओके। हाँ
तो
हाँ हाँ।
वो बेटर रहेगा।
ओके ओके।
दैट व्हाट वी आर थिंकिंग। इस बार हमने हमारे यहाँ पर जो मंदिर में महावीर जन्म कल्याणक हुआ था, उसमें भी हमने बच्चों को वही सिखाया था।
अच्छा अच्छा।
तो दैट
नहीं
हेल्प।
नहीं, बहुत अच्छी बात है, वो बहुत ही अच्छा आप करवा रहे हैं बच्चों को। ये बहुत ही ठीक है, ठीक
आप
है।
वापस, वरना मुझे मैसेज वो ग्रुप के थ्रू यू कैन फाइंड माय नेम, गौरव जैन।
हाँ हाँ हाँ,
वहां से आप
हाँ
ले
वो
लो।
ध्यान है मुझे।